The Rock is the ultimate example of this level. Dwayne Johnson became the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Then
And say what you want about The Rock, man. You cannot deny the fact that he has became an icon when it came down to WWE and its history. Hey, yo, what's happening, people? It's your boy Blaze here. Back to with another one here for Venomous Reactions. And today we got ourselves a video here for Wrestle Mafia. These are the 7 levels of WWE wrestlers. Now, we managed to check out something like this when it came down to the rap game. Now we're going to venture that into the wrestling world. I mean, 7 levels of wrestling is ranking from anywhere from jobber to people that have the it factor, but they're not quite there yet, to absolute legends. And we already know who those are. So we're going to see what Wrestle Mafia has to say about this one. Should be really informative. So without further ado, let's run it.
these are the 7 levels of WWE wrestlers, starting with level 1, the Jobber. The Jobber exists for one purpose: to take L's and make other wrestlers look good. These are the wrestlers who show up, take their beating, and disappear into the night. Most of the time, jobbers don't even get entrance music. James Ellsworth embodied this role perfectly as a chinless underdog who somehow stumbled into a storyline with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. Kurt Hawkins set a record with 269 consecutive losses.
Yeah, who remembers Kurt Hawkins' infamous losing streak? I mean, 269 losses, bro. That's dedication. I mean, I cannot go out there and get my ass whooped and lost that many times. But Kurt Hawkins, he was dedicated, and he loved the sport. He loved professional wrestling. And for professional wrestling, you're going to take some hits. Hopefully not as many as Kurt Hawkins, but you're going to take some hits.
Turning his jobber status into a full-blown gimmick. You also have the local enhancement talent who gets squashed in under 2 minutes to establish a monster heel like Ryback or Strowman. Some jobbers carve out lengthy careers in this role. Funaki spent years losing matches but became beloved enough to hang around as a backstage interviewer. Akira Tozawa remains stuck in catering, occasionally emerging to get squashed by someone like The Miz or Rhea Ripley. The jobber's life is thankless. They arrive at the arena knowing they'll lose, collect their paycheck, and hope that someday they'll get an opportunity to climb higher and become a key part of the main roster. But while the jobbers start at the bottom of the barrel, some wrestlers skip this level and start directly at level 2.
NXT star.
Around 2014, NXT became the proving ground for upcoming stars and indie wrestlers to refine their craft before moving to the main roster. They're too big to be jobbers, but this is where the machine decides if you're ready for the bright lights of Raw and SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura arrived in NXT as a legit star from New Japan Pro Wrestling with a cult following. His matches against Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe were instant classics, and the King of Strong Style was soon moved to the main roster. Kevin Owens dominated NXT as the prizefighter before debuting on Raw by attacking John Cena and immediately establishing himself as a major player.
Man, you know, some of these NXT stars, they managed to rise all the way up to the top. I mean, Kevin Owens is one of them. Shinsuke Nakamura, he was there, but I really can't say Shinsuke Nakamura because he's in the class within his own. But Samoa Joe, man, I gotta say, they dropped the ball with him numerous times. And granted the fact that he suffered injury after injury, but Samoa Joe had it. I just wish they pulled the trigger on him and put the world title on him because he had it. Everything down from his promo work to his in-ring work, he had it. Like I said, they dropped the ball on him expeditiously. It's a shame, too.
Names like Samoa Joe, Asuka, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, and many more navigated this same level before getting called up to the main roster. Currently, stars like Trick Williams, Ricky Starks, Blake Monroe, and others in NXT are going through this same phase. They're champions and key players in NXT, but WWE isn't confident enough to give them the call up to next level yet. This level is make or break because either you adapt and ascend, or you flounder here for ages before eventually getting released. But for those who survive the transition, the next level awaits.
I can see why you said
The
that.
mid-card is WWE wrestlers who appear regularly, have recognizable characters, and occasionally win matches, but never threaten the main event scene. They might get a brief run with the IC title or the US title, but they rarely get a taste at the big gold that is held by the top dogs. Grayson Waller perfectly represents this level. He's good on the mic, decent in the ring, and wins enough to stay relevant, but loses whenever someone important needs a victory. He's in that comfortable zone where he's
That does make
featured
sense
on TV, but ultimately replaceable. Guys like Solo Sikoa, Damian Priest, Carmelo Hayes, and Rusev are other mid-card stars on the current rosters. Mid-carders often wrestle in multi-man matches, challenge for mid-card titles, and work solid matches that people forget about by next week. Wrestlers can spend entire careers here, working
You ain't
hard,
lying
doing
though.
everything asked of them, but never getting that elusive push to the next level. But for
That
those
does
rare
make
few
sense
who
though.
capture lightning in a bottle, they advance to the next level where real opportunities finally start to emerge.
Upper mid card.
The upper mid-card is where wrestlers become legitimate stars without quite reaching the top of the mountain. These are the guys who main event B shows, challenge for world titles occasionally, and can be slotted into the main event picture. But they're not the face of the company. The Miz is the ultimate example of this level. He's a former WWE champion, multi-time Intercontinental champion, and one of the most reliable performers on the roster. He can
I can agree with that because Miz, he is dependable. Like he will show up and be a part of a storyline, and he would do that with so much ease because that's what he loves. That's how much love he has, not only for the company but for the business. And when you're in that bracket of upper mid card, I mean, you're gonna do what you got to do. And Miz is a living, he's a living definition of that. That's true.
cut promos, work consistently safe matches, and elevate younger talent. But despite all his accomplishments, nobody genuinely believes The Miz will ever be the face of the WWE again. Dolph Ziggler spent his entire prime trapped here. He had the talent, the look, the crowd support, but WWE never fully committed to him. He'd put on great matches, hold the IC and US title, but whenever he got a world title shot, he'd lose and drop back to the mid-card. His career...
That's true about Dolph Ziggler too. Like, there was that one shining moment where he had the world heavyweight title. And after that, he just been stuck in like upper mid-card purgatory, as some people will say. But like I said, people do what they have to do for the love of the business and for the company. And Dolph Ziggler, he really didn't mind it. I mean, he may get a taste of the world heavyweight title scene, but just not enough to get a full grasp of the title, if you know what I mean.
Career became a frustrating loop of almosts and what-ifs. Dominic Mysterio recently ascended to this level after feuding with John Cena and reclaiming the IC title. He's not ready for the world title yet, but he's big enough to be a key part of the roster and feud with the major guys. Sheamus represents the ceiling of this level, a multi-time world champion who's respected, featured prominently, and can beat almost anyone on any given night. But his days of carrying the company are far behind him. The upper mid-card is simultaneously rewarding and limiting. These wrestlers make great money, work regularly, and have job security. But there's always that nagging question if they have what it takes to reach main event status. However, when everything aligns perfectly, some wrestlers transcend this level and become true main event players.
That's a prime example. Main event player.
Main event players are the wrestlers who consistently compete for world championships and headline pay-per-views, but haven't quite become the undisputed face of the company. Seth Rollins embodies this level perfectly. He's a multi-time world champion, one of the best in-ring performers of his generation, and capable of carrying any major storyline. He consistently has major matches at WrestleMania. He's held the company together during transitional periods and reinvented himself repeatedly to stay relevant. But he's never been the guy in the way Roman Reigns or John Cena were. He's always been the number 2 option. CM Punk's WWE title run in 2012 demonstrated both the power and limitations of this level. He became WWE champion and held the title for 434 days, but he was never positioned as the face of the company. WWE still positioned John Cena above him, giving Cena the marquee matches and promotional push while Punk main evented the B-level pay-per-views.
That is an interesting take on that. I mean, because think about it. CM Punk went on to have the most iconic reign ever with the WWE title. But he was never looked at as the key player, like the top guy, like the marquee marquee player, so to speak, like John Cena and Roman Reigns. But he had the it factor. He had everything down from wrestling ability to promo work. He he put in the work, and he is the living definition of him scratching and clawing all the way to the top, despite everything that is destined to keep him down. He ascended to the top, and he got his he got his ultimate respect in the end of it all, and that's 100.
Main event players are expected to deliver in high-pressure situations, work hurt when necessary, and help younger talent develop. They're not quite irreplaceable, but losing them creates noticeable holes in the card. Main event players rotate
That is
in
a
and out of
fact.
the title picture based on booking needs and creative direction. They might be
Mm.
champion for months, then spend the next year chasing or working programs with other main eventers. But there's one level higher, a level so rare that only a handful of wrestlers per generation achieve it.
Ooh, face of
The
WWE.
face of the company isn't just the top star. They are the company in the eyes of casual fans and mainstream media. These are the
Yep.
wrestlers non-fans recognize, the one who appears on talk shows and magazine covers. Cody
Mm-hmm.
Rhodes currently occupies this role as the WWE champion. Before him,
Oh, of
Roman Reigns
course.
held the throne after the longest world title reign of the modern era.
Ah, the reign of the head of the table. Forever will be etched in history as the most dominant reigns ever. And that was the point of Roman Reigns reinventing himself. And we got the Roman Reigns that we all love and respect. Instead of the same old Roman character that WWE was trying to shove down everyone's throat. Like, nah. He went and reinvented himself and became the tribal chief, the head of the table, the OTC. And you know what? We love him for it. Real talk.
These wrestlers don't just main event shows. The entire show is
Facts.
structured around their matches and storylines. John Cena defined this level for over a decade as the PG era superhero. Love him or hate him, Cena was WWE's most
That is a
reliable
fact.
draw, their corporate representative, and their connection to mainstream audiences.
And a lot of people hated Cena for this because he was shoved down everyone's throat, but he was there to do what he was paid to do. That's be the face of the company. And like he said, love him or hate him, gotta give him his flowers for what he's done for the business. And I gotta say it again, Cena, you are the GOAT. Thanks for all your years of service in the WWE and hope you are enjoying retirement. And that's real.
WWE's entire business model revolved around Cena's availability and positioning. Hulk
Yep.
Hogan in the 1980s was the original template of this role, a cultural phenomenon who transcended wrestling and became a legitimate celebrity. Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Attitude Era
The
embodied this
rattlesnake.
level as his star power saved WWE from bankruptcy and defeated
Woo.
WCW in the Monday Night Wars. The
That
face
is
of
a
the company
fact.
carries immense pressure. They make far more money than everyone else, but they also sacrifice privacy and sometimes their bodies to maintain that position. But even faces of the company eventually step aside, and if they've done everything right, they transition into something even more valuable.
Ooh, the legend.
Legends are wrestlers who've transcended their active careers and become permanent fixtures in WWE's history. They're not grinding on the road full time. They show up for major events, work programs with current stars to pass the torch, and maintain their mystique through carefully managed appearances. The Undertaker was the perfect representation of this level during the later stages of his career when he'd show up during Mania season, defend his streak, and disappear for the rest of the year. Edge returned from a
Facts.
career-ending neck injury in 2020, and when he came back, he didn't need to rebuild his credibility. He was instantly
Not
slotted
at
into
all.
main events, won the Royal Rumble, and challenged for world titles because his legend status guaranteed that he'd draw fans.
Man, when Edge came back, man, the whole crowd erupted. Like everyone was off their feet, and you know what? It gave that sign of hope. Like, we did not expect Edge to return back to the ring like someone on a part-time basis, but to see him in the ring fully healthy and wrestling like normal, that is a moment that would forever go down in history. Yo, I'm telling you.
The Legend's role is crucial for WWE's continuity. They connect different generations of fans, wrestle in dream matches, and give current stars credibility through association. Beating a legend doesn't diminish them. It elevates the younger wrestler while the legend remains untouchable because their body of work speaks for itself. But a select few wrestlers ascend beyond this level and reach the next one where their name becomes immortal.
Ooh, Hall of Fame. Oh,
Hall
6.5.
of Fame wrestlers are those who defined entire eras and whose careers represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in professional wrestling. They don't just have memorable moments, they have moments that change the industry's direction. Names like Roddy Piper, The Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Dusty Rhodes, these guys weren't just legends, they laid the foundation for what pro wrestling would become. Shawn Michaels is the Heartbreak Kid, Mr. WrestleMania, the Showstopper, a wrestler who literally wrote the book on how to perform at the highest level. His matches with The Undertaker at consecutive WrestleManias are considered the greatest in history. His latter match with Razor Ramon revolutionized the industry. The Undertaker spent 3 decades building the most iconic character in wrestling history. When Undertaker's gong hits, it doesn't matter if you're a current fan or haven't watched wrestling in 20 years. You stop and pay attention. Hall of Fame wrestlers
that is a fact.
Their merchandise sells forever. Their matches get packaged in every nostalgia collection, and new generations discover them through WWE Vault and YouTube. But even among these immortals, there's one final level, reserved for the absolute rarest of performers who belong on the Mount Rushmore of WWE.
The GOAT.
The GOAT is a title reserved for wrestlers who transcended the industry itself and became global cultural icons. The Rock is the ultimate example of this level. Dwayne Johnson became the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Then,
and say what you want about The Rock, man. You cannot deny the fact that he has became an icon when it came down to WWE and its history. I mean, look at the fact he's charismatic. He could cut one hell of a promo, and his accolades speak for itself, and the matches he's put on speaks for itself. I mean, love him or hate him, gotta give The Rock his flowers, despite what we all think of him and his recent involvement in WWE storylines. Gotta give him his flowers.
Leverage that into becoming the biggest movie star on the planet. His promos are quoted daily on social media. His matches are studied
that is
by
a
every
fact.
generation of performers. And when he returns for special appearances, it feels like a big deal. John Cena is another undisputed GOAT. Due to his Make-A-Wish appearances and Hollywood career, Cena has ascended the WWE and become a mainstream figure that is known globally. What separates GOATs from Hall of Famers is cultural relevance. Guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are revered by fans. But The Rock and Stone Cold are known by people who've never even watched a single match in their lives. But speaking of great wrestlers, check out this video next to find out who was the best WWE wrestler from every year.
Ooh, I'm about to check that one out next. But this list, Wrestle Mafia, you did your shit. You did your shit. And I agree with everything you just said about every level when it came down to the different levels of wrestler. I mean, different levels of wrestling in the WWE. And everything you just said, spot on. Especially when it came down to, like, you know, the legend, the Hall of Fame, and the GOAT. I mean, very, very few can reach that level, like you said. But The Rock, John Cena, those are the two that I feel like fits the mold of the GOAT. And for the Hall of Famer, like, it really doesn't do them harm. And the legacy is never tarnished. And I can say the same thing about the legend status, the legend level of wrestler. Like, their main job is to basically like help usher in like the newer levels of the newer talent, the new faces that is destined to carry the company for years to come. And in no way does it harm their legendary status in any way. So I can agree. But I want to know what your take on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Is this list very accurate? I want to know. Let the comment section have it. And as always, thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. And don't forget to tell your peoples across the globe. So kick it with your boys. Just want to get solid time. And please do follow your boy on social media right over yonder. And this is your boy Blaze here saying Chuck the Deuces, and I will see y'all in the next video, and I am out.